Take you through what you need to know about this Michigan football team heading into the second game of what will be, in my opinion, a national championship season. Our viewers guide and some rumors on Jim Harbaugh that just never seem to go away. We are presented by Manscaped. Go over to manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE. Get the beard hedger. This bad boy is amazing. Get 20% off and free shipping. Promo code GOBLUE. No spaces. Promo code GOBLUE. Head over to manscaped.com. Support the shows. Support yourself because you're never going to regret it if you get going with Manscaped. I'll ask you this question before we talk the talk. Will Jim Harbaugh be Michigan's head coach next year? 2024. Michigan's probably going to be replacing 16 plus starters next year. Maybe the entire starting offense, right? Good. Will Jim Harbaugh be Michigan's head coach in 2024? Give me a yes or a no in the live chat. Logan says yes. A-Train no. Corbin says yes. I hope. But the rumors, they started a couple weeks ago. They were back again yesterday. ESPN Cleveland, I guess they got nothing better to talk about on a Tuesday because they did an entire segment. And then ESPN, regular, not just the local ones, they did an entire segment yesterday. Our Browns channel here, the Michigan Football Report, they did an entire segment on it yesterday. And it's like, this is not going to go away. The real Tom Rizzo, one of the longest tenured local sports radio guys in the state of Ohio, Cleveland, there. It's back from vacation and dropping Harbaugh to the Brown Bombs. Football season here. Nothing substantive, nothing concrete on these rumors. Just heard that he might be interested. Heard if the Browns don't do X, Y, and Z, they're going to move on from their coach, Kevin Stefanski. Jim Harbaugh is their absolute number one guy. So the NFL rumors persist. Then there's this guy, Danny Sheridan. If you read the USA Today in the 90s, you probably know what the Danny Sheridan is because he always put out the sports betting lines when that was kind of like, quiet. No one was allowed to talk about sports betting in the 90s and the 2000s until recently it was kind of become a thing. So Danny Sheridan's always been like the odds guy for USA Today. Apparently still works there. Jim Harbaugh is a great college and NFL coach, and his Super Bowl winning brother John is also excellent. Thanks, Danny. We didn't know that. My sources tell me Jim is 100% leaving Michigan after this season if. They always do that, don't they? Chris Ballas and the Wolverine. Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan for the Vikings. If he gets the offer. Okay, cool. Didn't get the offer. Great. I broke about 50 stories on CNN, and they all happened. Well, I don't know about that. CNN, Jack. I know you might be a CNN. I don't know. CNN. My number one story was Danny Ford retiring. He goes on and on. We don't really have to talk about it. So Danny Sheridan, USA Today, saying Jim Harbaugh gets it. He is 100% if he gets a Michigan or an NFL offer gone from Michigan. But what's the hold up here with Jim Harbaugh and Michigan? I thought Ward Manuel and him, after the NCAA stuff seemed to be settled a couple weeks ago, 3-game suspension. All right, maybe it's not completely settled. Where is a long-term extension? The man took a pay cut for you in 2021, right? Then he got a little bit of a pay bump. Now let's lock him in long-term. Let's lock him in. Jack, I spilled a bit. Lock him in long-term as Michigan's football coach. If you guys are watching on Friday, I apologize. Just had a little spill here while we are live on Wednesday night. I wonder why this continues on because for me, Jim Harbaugh taking the suspension this year, ding, that signal to me, he's thinking about the future. With as many players that Michigan could be replacing after this season, JJ McCarthy, Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum, all 5 starting offensive linemen, A.J. Barner could leave, Colson Loveland could be your only returning starter for this offense next year. On the defense, Chris Jenkins could be gone. Braden McGregor could be gone, right? Will Johnson, of course, will return. Rod Moore could leave early. Mike Sanderson, he won't be back next year. There's a lot of guys that Michigan's going to have to replace next year. You're not going to be returning many players, and they could do a great job in the transfer portal, and a couple guys could decide to return that will surprise us. But this is not going to be a great Michigan football team next year. You can't expect that they're going to win the Big Ten again next year. They could, right? A lot of these guys are developing. Keon Sabb, TJ Guy, Ernest Hausmann, they'll be all playing next year. Okay, cool. But Michigan taking a suspension this year says, okay, I know what I have this year. They need me next year. Who's the second game of the year next year? It's Texas. It's not UNLV. It's not Bowling Green. It's not East Carolina. Texas is coming to Ann Arbor for the second game next year. Jim Harbaugh absolutely wants to be, on the sidelines for that game. So I thought that, that signaled it, but the rumors continue to persist. I don't know why they do. I don't know who puts them out. But it kind of seems that it's getting old for me. And, whether it's hurting Michigan's recruiting, I don't know. I don't really necessarily think so. But if Jim Harbaugh really wants to be here long-term, sign that long-term contract, right? Have a big buyout. So it's not going to happen if he wants to leave. and come out and just say what you've said after the last two looks at the NFL. I want to be here long term. I will be the coach of Michigan in 2024 because as of now, Jim Harbaugh seems to just let this thing trickle out there. People say things, and he rarely ever addresses it. And after the season's over, we go on this 20, 30, 40 days long of just speculation on Jim Harbaugh. Next, I'm going to go inside Michigan and UNLV from the Michigan side of things. Kind of give you some more thoughts on players that stood out this past week and what I think that means for the future of this team in 2023, the second-ranked Wolverines in both the coaches and the AP poll. And you won't be second-ranked in any part of your life if you get going with our sponsor, and that is Manscaped. I've been using Manscaped below the waist, right? Never, guys or ladies, you never want something to be going on around there, the lights turn on situation, and you are just like a woolly mammoth below the waist. Trim up with Manscaped. But now they got shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, nail clippers, and my favorite product, the Beard Hedger. Beard like a pro with Manscaped. I like this line right here. Give good face, right? Some people say give good, another word that starts with an H, right? Oh, yeah, she gives good. Well, hey, give her back some good face. Make sure that your beard is not sloppy. You're not sloppy Steve out there. You are getting trimmed up every time you go out in the town. You're looking sharp with a trimmed up beard because you got the Beard Hedger from Manscaped. As you see there, it was breaking news earlier this year when Manscaped launched the Beard Hedger. It's completely changed how I maintain my facial hair on my face, and you can get it too. Manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE. That's Manscaped.com. Use promo code GOBLUE. I use the Beard Hedger along with all of Manscaped's products almost every single day. They've taken over my bathroom. Manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping. Got to use that promo code GOBLUE. Get going, Manscaped. You will not regret it. Look, if they stop sponsoring the show, I'm still paying for their products. That's how it is. I love Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Promo code GOBLUE. Let's turn our attention to this team. Stop with the Jim Harbaugh NFL speculation. Let me know what you guys think. The best running back in Michigan football history. Who is that player? Who is the guy right now that you say is the best running back? I think most people say, hey, it's Mike Hart, who's going to be one of the head coaches this Saturday. People might say Anthony Thomas. Okay. Chris Perry won the Doak Walker Award. Tyrone Wheatley, maybe his best year was a sophomore in 1992. And then came back, had injury, was Heisman frontrunner in 93 and 94, kind of coming into the season. Really struggled. I see a Tyrone Wheatley from Logan in the live chat. A-Train from A-Train. Wheatley as well. I think it's pretty consensus, who's up there with those top 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. Everybody knows the name for this program. And it's been a while since Michigan's had really, truly elite running backs. Hassan Haskins fit the bill in 2021. And Blake Corum, the last 3 seasons, has fit the bill for this Michigan football team. And my eyes this week are on Blake Corum because there was so much chatter that I don't know if I believe, but I'm like, well, maybe that's right. People in our live chat on Saturday during a watch party, seeing people on Twitter, seeing a few articles, Blake Corum didn't look 100%. Now, I haven't heard anything about that. I've talked to people who've trained with Blake Corum, have seen his workouts, who know what his numbers, with the leg presses and running 40 and agility drills. They say he's at 100%, was ready to go. But he didn't, have a Blake Corum style game. Really only 2 runs where he kind of made a Blake Corum move where you're like, okay, he's stuck. Whoop! He's over there, 37 yards, 23 yards, 10 carries. They limited a little bit for this team. Then we're going to find out this Saturday what he's got. But it wasn't Blake Corum. Now, he didn't have huge stats last year in the opener, so maybe that's just Michigan's MO for Blake Corum, kind of keeping him up. Is he 100%? I think he is. But that's just a question that we have. After one game when he only got 10 carries, 73 yards. Okay, cool. Admirable game. If you do that for 12, 13, 14 weeks, you'll be approaching, you'll be at 900 yards. You maybe have a chance to get 1,000 with a breakout game or two. But my eyes are on Blake Corum this Saturday. His head coach, his running backs coach, Mike Hart, is going to be one of the 2 head coaches along with Jay Harbaugh. Will they get Blake Corum back in that triple digits, right? 145 yards on 16 carries, 2 touchdowns. I hope we see Blake Corum and he's not hampered because, listen, the last couple times we saw him on the field before this past Saturday, he went down versus Illinois, came out in the second half, even though he was limping, even though he had a torn meniscus, tried to get in the field, went out there against Ohio State for a few plays, but clearly he was not able to play. So my eyes are on Blake Corum. I'll ask you guys the question here. How many rushing yards will Blake Corum have against UNLV on Saturday? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that we see some old Blake Corum. I'm going to go with 133. 3. Jack, we should start writing my predictions. We can start doing a segment. Yoder was right, Yoder was wrong, Cowherd style. So the two I've got right now, I think, over for JJ of 260, 133 for Blake Corum, and I said 52-10 for Michigan. So 125 from Logan. Bill Graves says 162. And then Sigmaletti says, I can't remember if he says I'm more than 15 touches, but I didn't see if you put in any yards. I like that this comment from account 22. Corum looked fine, just tentative in his first game back. And that really could be what it is, right? Everybody, I think sometimes, think about this, when you go on vacation at work, you're gone for a week and a half or something like that, you walk in the office, you don't know what the hell's been going on. Sometimes you're like, oh, what's going on? I don't want to, walk in and everyone make a big deal over it. Maybe it was some returning nerves for Blake Corum. How about the offensive line? Trente Jones was not in the starting lineup. All right. Ladarius Henderson, not in the starting lineup. Could one or more, maybe potentially those two players, get in the starting lineup this week? Also saw some Giovanni El-Hadi. He got in the rotation as Michigan's eighth offensive lineman who could be starter caliber at this point. This is a program and a team that's won the last 2 Joe Moore Awards. Sharon Moore was not in the game, right? He was watching the game with his wife and Jim Harbaugh. Apparently, Jim Harbaugh's wife went to the lake for the weekend. She wasn't even in town, funny enough, this past week, Jack. So he had to go over to Sharon Moore. Moore's wife made some food for him, some sandwiches. People said in the chat we got pizza during the live watch party on Saturday. Sure got cheeseburgers. Jim Harbaugh should have been eating cheeseburgers with Sharon Moore, but he returns. So will that make a difference with this offensive line? Is there something to your offensive line coach being on the sideline and just hitting those shoulder pads, right? As I knock my thing, hyping guys up, saying, hey, block this guy, having that clipboard, that whiteboard there, and showing guys what they're doing wrong and what they're doing right, where the momentum is going, where they're making mistakes in real time. They missed that on Saturday. And I know there's plenty of offensive assistants that people know the game plan, but Sharon Moore, being the offensive line coach, used to be tight ends coach in 2020, moved over to the offensive line. It has been program changing for Michigan. I'd like to find out this week if this offensive line is still elite, find out who are going to be the 5 starters. I do think that Miles Hinton probably got blown off the line a little too much. Some of the people in the live chat agree with me there. So I think it's about a 51% chance that we may see Trente Jones take his spot in the starting lineup. But I do think Michigan gets 7, 8, as many as 9 offensive linemen, in the game, more than 20 snaps on Saturday. Did JJ McCarthy level up? Okay. Did JJ McCarthy 26 of 30? And Cornelius Johnson had one nice catch, or JJ maybe made a bad throw. JJ got hit in the sideline one time, but 26 of 30, guys, 86.7% passing, the best completion percentage in the history of this program, over 30 passes in a game. That's the difference between a national championship team and a Big Ten team champions that loses to TCU, is a quarterback who can score touchdowns inside the 20, who can roll out of the pocket and hit Roman Wilson twice when the play breaks down, that the coaching staff has the confidence in to throw the ball, and you don't just think it's going to be intercepted, right? Last time J.J. McCarthy was on the field, what happened? 2 pick sixes in the first half against TCU. One was the first half, one was right afterwards. I can't remember exactly. But be interested to see. I do think it was a level up. I think J.J. McCarthy, he had the best grades by Pro Football Focus of any quarterback in the country in this past weekend, the opening full weekend of college football, and throwing 86% completion, 3 touchdowns, 280 yards in 2.5 quarters of work. That is leveling up. He's a confident player. He's coming at you with thinking that he can get the ball, done through the air. He can get the ball done, move the ball on the ground. He can throw the ball to Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, Frederick Moore, Colson Loveland, A.J. Barner, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards. This team is absolutely loaded. J.J. McCarthy, if he continues to level up, he becomes an All-American quarterback, a top 3 or 4 quarterback in all of college football. That's going to be the difference between Michigan losing in the CFP and potentially winning the national championship. Will Johnson sat out the game. We kind of predicted that all week. We were proven to be correct. I'm not trying to take a victory lap on that by any means. It just seemed that was the tea leaves. I think it's more than likely that he sits again this week. Let's see more of this guy. Keshaun Harris, former walk-on, now scholarship player. 6 tackles in 4 years leading up to getting the start when he walked out on the field on Saturday. I didn't know who it was. I'm serious. I did not know who it was. I had to refresh my brain on who Keshaun Harris was. He was somehow went completely under the radar. There's no one, and I mean no one, out there who covers this football team, follows this football team, that could have told you who Keshaun Harris, outside of his parents and some friends, was and what he was going to do in this game before Saturday. He got the start, Will he get the start again this week? Will Johnson probably not playing? I think it's pretty likely, and I hope he does. He was on John Jansen's official Michigan Go Blue podcast a couple days ago. Sounds like a really level-headed kid, and I wish him the best. Hope he continues to ball out in the opportunity he has with Will Johnson to be a starter for at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 games. How about Keon Sabb, man? He looked like a budding star. The thing that's always interesting, I think back to when Jabril Peppers got on the field for the first time, or even I know he kind of got, some bad rap at the end of his Michigan career, but Josh Metellus, right, in that 2016 bowl game against Florida State, had to fill in for Peppers, the safety spot. Metellus, boom, he's all over the field. I saw Keon Sabb make plays on the ball. You just get out there, see his agility, see his speed, see his instincts. Keon Sabb is a budding star, and it would not surprise me if he makes his way into the permanent starting lineup for Michigan, not just because of injuries to Rod Moore or Makari Page only playing 10 snaps. If he supplants one of those two players and is a budding star and maybe even a starter for this year's Michigan football team. But I'm looking at next year's secondary. Josh Wallace likely getting a 6-year. Will Johnson, Rod Moore potentially could return. Keon Sabb. You're going to lose Mike Sanderson for sure. Sanderson's gone, but 3, 4, 5 of those guys could return. This could be, again, one of the better secondaries in all of college football. Keon Sabb could be a big part of that. If you want to watch the game with us, as John Blaze puts up $50 super chat, we'll get you to second, John, as we wrap up this segment. My man, John, you've got that helmet coming to you. We will be live 3 o'clock Eastern on Saturday, 30 minutes before the game, and keep it rolling through the entire game. I'll have the scoreboard. We'll have stats, instant reaction, your questions coming up on Saturday. I'll be on camera the entire game. I was out there doing push-ups, all kinds of crazy stuff on Saturday. Beer races with some of my coworkers, 3 o'clock. Probably till what around, I think we went 5 hours and 15 minutes last week. So 3 to about 8:15 or so, hour or so after the game. So by the way, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's kind of the point of that. Subscribe. You'll see us pop up in your YouTube feed. Ernest Hausmann did not get the start. Mike Barrett missed on 2 tackles egregiously. Could Ernest Hausmann supplant him this week? He is a player, right? Only experience I had of watching Ernest Hausmann, of course, was Nebraska last year, especially against Michigan when he got his 1 sack on the year. He looked like a player for this team. He's going to continue to get snaps. He was Michigan's leading tackler versus East Carolina with 6 tackles, okay? Half a sack in the game. Ernest Hausmann, if he doesn't supplant Michael Barrett, which I don't want. I love Michael Barrett, program guy, 6 years, stuck around through the 2020 season. I hope Michael Barrett has tons of success at Michigan this year and beyond, whether it's the NFL or elsewhere. But Ernest Hausmann certainly looked like one of the best 11 players on the defensive side of the ball for Michigan. We'll see if he supplants Barrett or if they get more of a 3-linebacker rotation that Michigan's really true linebackers has avoided the past 3 seasons. Jay Harbaugh and Mike Hart will be your first half, second half coaches coming up on Saturday. So what are we going to see from this co-head coaches? If you know anything about Jay Harbaugh, he has his dad's ear in a lot of ways, right? He was the guy, I don't know if this has ever been reported, he was the guy that pushed Jim Harbaugh to hire Josh Gaddis. Now, we saw how that worked out. Didn't work out too well. He was also the guy that really finally getting rid of Don Brown. He wanted to get rid of Don Brown after 2019. He was telling his dad to. Finally, Michigan did it after 2020. And the transformation of Michigan's coaching staff leading into the 2021 season, and then again after 2021 into the 2022 season, was to go young. Get those 35, 36, 40-year-old coaches, right, who can put in the longer hours, who have the innovative thinking, who are aggressive on the recruiting trail. A lot of that came from Jay Harbaugh pushing his dad to make those changes in the program. How about Mike Hart? Returning to Michigan, 3rd year in the program, was associate head coach for Indiana. What happened to Indiana, right? The last year Mike Hart was there at Indiana is the only time that program has beat Michigan in the last 36 years, right? In 2020, they beat Michigan with Michael Penix, who right now could be your Heisman favorite or top 3 or 4. Mike Hart's going to be there. He is a budding head coach. I think there's a chance he could be a head coach next year. Won't be at Michigan. Won't be at Illinois. But could it be an Eastern Michigan or some school like that? I'm not even speculating on that job. But just a group of 5 school, a MAC school, Western, Eastern, Central, whoever needs a head coach. Northern Illinois, we will see. Interested to see what these guys have because they're not coordinators, either one of them. But I do think that both Jay Harbaugh and Mike Hart could be in line for a head coaching job after this season. Make sure you guys predict the score. It is UNLV Michigan coming up at 3 o'clock. We will be live 3 o'clock Eastern. The game is at 3:30 on CBS. Make sure you predict your score. See if anybody can get it right down in the comments. I'll scan the comments before Saturday, see if you can get it right. My prediction, 52-10. You've been watching the Michigan Football Report Viewer's Guide. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Try things a little different. Just me riffing my thoughts on a handful of players and, of course, that Jim Harbaugh news or I guess rumors from ESPN and USA Today to start the show. Make sure you guys join us. We'll be live Saturday morning. If you watch this on Friday, tomorrow, not Saturday morning, we'll be live 3 o'clock Saturday for our Michigan Football Report watch party against UNLV. Till I see you at game day, go blue.